Hey warriors, every single day, countless decisions are made in moments of reaction. According to research in behavioral psychology, nearly 90% of our daily choices are influenced by emotions rather than logic. Think about that for a moment. Most of what we say, do, or regret, it doesn't come from careful thought. It comes from a reaction we couldn't control. This is why the ancient Stoics placed such deep importance on mastering our inner world. They understood something that modern science is only now confirming. When you control your reaction, you control your reality. Marcus Aurelius, the Roman emperor and one of the greatest Stoic thinkers, once wrote, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." These words echo through time because they remind us of a truth many forget. Our peace is stolen not by events, but by our reactions to them. When someone insults us, when life disappoints us, when situations go wrong, our first instinct is to fire back, defend ourselves, or let anger take over. But here's the paradox. Every time we let emotion take the wheel, we hand over our power. We let others dictate how we feel, how we think, and even how we act. That's not freedom. That's slavery to impulse. The power of not reacting is not weakness, it's wisdom. It's the art of choosing dignity over chaos, silence over noise, clarity over confusion. In a world that pushes us to be quick, loud, and impulsive, the one who pauses becomes powerful. Now, before we go deeper, I want you to imagine something. The last time you regretted your words. Maybe it was a heated argument, a text sent too quickly, or a decision made in anger. That regret, that heavy feeling afterward, comes from one truth. Reaction without reflection always costs more than it gives. And here's the beauty. Learning not to react doesn't mean suppressing your emotions or pretending they don't exist. It means creating a space between what happens to you and what you choose to do with it. In that space lies the freedom to respond with wisdom, calm, and strength. The Stoics called this practice the cultivation of virtue, the highest human achievement. Virtue, in Stoic philosophy, isn't about being perfect or holy. It's about living in alignment with wisdom, courage, justice, and self-control. And self-control begins at the very moment of reaction. Think of it this way. Anger wants you to explode, fear wants you to run, ego wants you to fight, but wisdom whispers, wait, breathe. Choose that pause, that silence, that refusal to hand over your soul to the chaos of the moment. That is where transformation begins. The journey we're about to take in this video is not about theories alone. It's about practical steps, real, human, everyday practices that can help you become unshakable in a shaking world. These are not just ideas. They are living practices, tools that the Stoics used centuries ago and that we can use today in our workplaces, in our families, in our relationships, and most importantly, within ourselves. The world will always test us. People will provoke us. Circumstances will frustrate us. But the truth is, no one can truly control us unless we hand them the keys through our reactions. Epictetus, another great Stoic teacher, put it beautifully. It's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters. Those words remind us that every insult, every challenge, every disappointment is simply an invitation. An invitation to rise above impulse and choose clarity. So today, as you listen, don't just absorb these ideas, practice them, visualize them. Imagine yourself in those moments of heat, of conflict, of chaos, and then picture yourself standing still, calm, untouchable. That is the power of not reacting. Before we begin with the first principle, I want to ask you, if you find value in this message, don't forget to like this video, leave your thoughts in the comments, share it with someone who needs this wisdom, and subscribe so you never miss more insights on living with strength and clarity. Say to yourself and drop this affirmation in the comments: I choose wisdom over reaction. Number 1. The sacred pause, your gateway to freedom. In a world that glorifies speed, silence is revolutionary. We live in a culture where instant replies, immediate reactions, and quick judgments are the norm. But the truth is, the faster we react, the less we actually think. And that's where the danger lies. The Stoics understood something profound. The most powerful person in the room is not the one who speaks first, but the one who waits. Waiting is not weakness, it's wisdom disguised as patience. Seneca, the Roman Stoic philosopher, once wrote, "The greatest remedy for anger is delay." He didn't say silence alone or avoidance, but delay, the sacred pause. This pause is your shield. It is the breath that keeps your words from becoming weapons and your emotions from becoming chains. Think about it. How many battles in history, how many broken friendships, how many shattered families could have been saved by just a moment of pause? One deep breath, one heartbeat of silence, 1 second of restraint. But here's the beauty. The pause is not just about avoiding harm. It is also about discovering truth. When you pause, you create space. In that space, you begin to see more clearly. You begin to separate the noise of your emotions from the wisdom of your reason. Modern neuroscience even confirms this. When we react impulsively, the amygdala, the primal part of the brain, takes over. But when we pause, even for a few seconds, the prefrontal cortex, the seat of logic and judgment, steps in. That pause literally rewires your decision-making in the moment. It shifts you from survival mode to wisdom mode. The Stoics believed that freedom doesn't come from controlling the world. It comes from controlling yourself. The pause is where this control begins. Imagine someone insults you in public. Your instinct may be to fire back, defend yourself, or prove them wrong. But if you pause, even for 2 seconds, you rob that insult of its power. You turn a provocation into an opportunity for clarity. This is not about silence forever. It's not about bottling emotions. It's about reclaiming the lost art of waiting, responding when you are ready, not when you are triggered. The sacred pause can take many forms. It can be as simple as one deep breath before replying to a message, walking away for a moment before answering an insult, closing your eyes before making a difficult decision, saying to yourself, "Not yet. Let me think." These tiny acts of delay become mighty shields against regret. Marcus Aurelius captured this practice when he wrote in his Meditations, "If you are distressed by anything external, the pain is not due to the thing itself, but to your estimate of it, and this you have the power to revoke at any moment. The pause is where that revocation begins. It's the moment you take back authority over your own mind." Now, some may ask, but won't people think I'm weak if I don't react immediately? The answer is no. In fact, the opposite is true. The one who pauses commands respect because they reveal they are not slaves to impulse. They show that their dignity is worth more than momentary satisfaction. Think of the lion. A lion does not rush to respond to every sound in the jungle. It waits, it watches, it chooses its moment with precision. The pause does not make the lion weak, it makes it majestic. And so, it is with us. The pause is your gateway to freedom. Freedom from regret, freedom from manipulation, freedom from emotional slavery. In every pause, you reclaim your life. Let me give you a simple practice you can start today. The rule of 3 breaths. Whenever you feel the urge to react, anger, insult, frustration, commit to taking 3 slow breaths before doing anything. Just 3. Inhale deeply, hold, exhale slowly, do it again. By the 3rd breath, you will notice your emotions shifting. the fire cooling, the fog lifting. That's the power of the pause. The Stoics didn't just teach philosophy, they taught practices, ways to live. And this practice, the sacred pause, is one of the most practical gifts you can give yourself. Because in the end, life isn't measured by how fast we respond, but by how wisely we choose. So, the next time life tests you, and it will, remember, not everything requires a reaction. Some things require nothing but your silence, your breath, and your calm. In that silence you will find not emptiness, but power. Epictetus once said, "No man is free who is not master of himself." The pause is how you begin to master yourself, and self-mastery is the truest form of freedom. Pause, breathe, choose. That's the path to wisdom. Let these words guide you and drop this in the comments. I pause, I breathe, I choose. Number 2, the mirror of truth. What your reactions reveal about you. Reactions are more than just responses to the world. They are reflections, mirrors showing us the state of our inner self. When someone presses a button in you, it's not the button that matters, it's what lies underneath. The Stoics believed that emotions are teachers, not enemies to be destroyed, but signals to be understood. They remind us of where we are still fragile, still unhealed, still bound to ego or fear. Epictetus captured this truth when he said, "When someone provokes you, be sure that it is your own opinion which provokes you." In other words, the person insulting you does not control your anger. Your interpretation of their words does. The insult is external, but your rage is internal. The reaction is a mirror showing you the story you are telling yourself. If an insult makes you furious, perhaps pride is ruling you. If rejection breaks you completely, perhaps self-worth is too fragile. If delays leave you restless, maybe patience is missing. Each reaction whispers something about your inner landscape. This is why reactions are powerful guides. They reveal the truth we often hide from ourselves. Many of us walk through life blaming others. They made me angry. They ruined my day. They pushed me too far. But the Stoic path turns the question inward. Why did I give them that power? What inside me allowed this? And here is the beauty. When you begin to see your reactions as mirrors, you stop being ashamed of them. You stop blaming others. Instead, you start learning. Every emotional reaction becomes an invitation to deeper self-awareness. Consider this. If someone calls you a liar and you know you've been honest, you may shrug and move on. But if the same word burns you inside, maybe it's because dishonesty lives somewhere in your past, or because your reputation means more to you than your truth. The reaction reveals the wound reveals the work. Marcus Aurelius advised himself in Meditations, "If someone is able to show me that what I think or do is not right, I will happily change, for I seek the truth, by which no one was ever truly harmed." Notice his wisdom. He didn't see correction or criticism as an attack. He saw it as a mirror, an opportunity to grow. When we see our reactions as reflections, life transforms. Every insult becomes feedback. Every delay becomes training. Every conflict becomes a classroom. Instead of drowning in emotions, we rise above them and ask, "What is this teaching me about myself?" This perspective is liberating. It means you are no longer a victim of what others say or do. Instead, you are a student of your own soul. The world becomes your teacher, not your enemy. Let's be honest, facing these mirrors isn't easy. Sometimes they reveal truths we'd rather avoid: pride, insecurity, jealousy, fear. But here lies the Stoic power, looking directly at those truths without flinching. Because once you see them clearly, you can work on them, and once you work on them, they lose their power to control you. Here's a practice. The next time you feel triggered, don't rush to act. Instead, ask yourself 3 questions. What am I feeling right now? Why am I feeling this way? What truth about myself is this reaction showing me? This self-inquiry turns every reaction into revelation. It shifts you from blindness to awareness, from blaming to learning. Think of your reactions as signals on a dashboard. If anger lights up, it doesn't mean the world is wrong. It means something inside needs attention. If fear takes over, it doesn't mean you're weak. It means there's a lesson waiting. Ignoring the signal doesn't help. Facing it does. Seneca wisely wrote, "No man was ever wise by chance." Wisdom requires facing yourself honestly, and your reactions are the most honest reflection you will ever get. They show you who you really are when the mask slips. The mirror of truth is not always flattering, but it is always freeing, because when you accept that your reactions belong to you, not to others, you reclaim your power. You can't always change the world, but you can change what it awakens in you. Let this sink in. People are not responsible for your peace. You are. Circumstances are not responsible for your calm. You are. Your reaction is your responsibility, and responsibility is freedom. So, the next time life provokes you, look into the mirror of truth. Ask, what does this reveal about me? And then thank life for showing you the next step in your growth. Because in the end, the person who learns from their reactions doesn't just survive life, they master it. Number 3. The fortress of inner peace, building unshakable emotional strength. Peace is not the absence of problems, it is the presence of strength. Life will never stop testing you. Storms will come, people will provoke, disappointments will arrive at your doorstep uninvited. The Stoics knew this well. They lived in a world of wars, betrayals, sickness, and loss, yet they spoke often of a kind of peace that no one could steal. Marcus Aurelius described it beautifully. People seek retreats for themselves, in the country, by the sea, in the mountains, but you can find at any moment a retreat within yourself. That retreat they spoke of is the fortress of inner peace. Think of a fortress, strong, grounded, unshaken by the winds outside. This is the image of the mind that is trained to hold peace, no matter what the world throws at it. It doesn't mean the world becomes easier. It means you become stronger. Most people build their peace on fragile foundations, on money, on other people's approval, on comfort, on control. The problem is, the moment those things are taken away, peace crumbles. But Stoic peace is different. It is built not on what can be taken away, but on what cannot. On your principles, your values, your self-control, your clarity. Epictetus taught this truth in simple words. No man is free who is not master of himself. If you depend on external things to feel calm, you are a prisoner. But if your calm is rooted in self-mastery, then nothing can enslave you. Building this fortress begins with training the mind daily. Just as a soldier doesn't wait for war to start practicing, you cannot wait for crisis to start learning peace. You build your strength before the storm, and every challenge you face becomes another stone added to your walls. Here are 3 pillars for your fortress of peace. Discipline of thought. You cannot control every event, but you can control what you allow your mind to dwell on. Replace the habit of constant worry with the practice of deliberate focus. The Stoics trained themselves to separate what they could control from what they could not. Peace begins where worry ends. Control of desires. Much of our unrest comes from wanting more success, more attention, more validation. But the Stoics reminded us that true wealth is not having everything, but needing little. When you master your desires, no loss can shake you because your peace is not tied to what you consume, but to who you are. Courage in adversity. Fear is one of the greatest thieves of peace, but courage, even quiet courage, is what anchors the soul. The Stoics didn't say we should never feel fear. They said we should act with strength despite it. That choice, courage over panic, reinforces the walls of your inner fortress. Imagine someone hurling insults at you. If your peace depends on their respect, you will crumble. But if your peace is built on dignity and self-control, their insults cannot enter your fortress. Imagine losing wealth or status. If your peace depends on those things, the loss will break you. But if your peace rests on character, no loss can touch it. Seneca warned of this truth. He who is brave is free. Freedom doesn't mean a life without hardship. It means hardship cannot chain your spirit. This is the essence of inner peace. But here's the key. Building this fortress is not passive. It's not about running away from the world or pretending nothing hurts. It's about engaging life with strength, practicing calm daily, and reminding yourself, my peace is mine. No one can take it unless I give it away. Try this practice. Every morning, before stepping into the day, close your eyes and remind yourself, today I may face rudeness, delays, disappointments, unfairness, but none of these things can steal my peace unless I allow them. Carry that sentence with you like armor. Over time, you'll notice something shift. What used to disturb you will begin to pass by like shadows. What used to shake you will no longer move you. You will still feel emotions. Yes, you are human, but you will no longer be ruled by them. That is strength. That is freedom. Think of your mind as a temple. You do not allow just anyone to walk in with muddy shoes. In the same way, guard your inner world with care. Not everything deserves a reaction, and not everything deserves access to your peace. Marcus Aurelius put it clearly, you have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength. This is the unshakable truth. Peace is not out there in the world. It is in here, in the fortress you build with patience, discipline, and courage. So, when the storms come, and they will, stand firm in your fortress. Let the winds howl, let the waves crash. You will stand unbroken because your peace does not depend on them. It depends on you. Tell yourself with strength and drop this in the comments. My peace is my fortress and nothing can break it. Number 4, the art of emotional Aikido, redirecting instead of resisting. When we hear the word strength, we often picture resistance, fighting back, holding our ground, standing firm. But the Stoics, like many wise traditions, understood a deeper truth. Real strength is not just about resisting force, it is about redirecting it. This is where we can borrow an image from martial arts, particularly Aikido. In Aikido, the goal is not to meet aggression with aggression. Instead, the practitioner learns to redirect the opponent's energy, turning the attack into an opportunity for balance. The energy is not wasted, it is transformed. In the same way, emotional mastery is not about shutting down feelings or pretending they don't exist. It is about transforming the energy of those emotions into something higher, more useful, and more powerful. The Stoics didn't deny anger, fear, or sadness. They accepted them as natural impulses of human life, but they also believed these emotions could be transformed. Seneca wrote, "We are more often frightened than hurt, and we suffer more in imagination than in reality." This means that the raw energy of fear or anger is not inherently destructive. It becomes destructive only when left unshaped. Think of anger. Left unchecked, it destroys relationships, clouds judgment, and leaves scars. But redirected, anger can fuel courage, persistence, or justice. Fear, when redirected, becomes caution, preparation, or wisdom. Even sadness, when embraced and channeled, can grow into compassion and empathy. This is the art of emotional Aikido, not resisting emotions, not suppressing them, but moving with them and turning them into allies. Imagine someone insults you in a meeting. The immediate impulse might be to defend yourself or retaliate. Resisting might mean you suppress your anger, hold it in, but it still eats away at you inside. But redirecting means you pause, breathe, and instead of wasting energy on reacting, you use it to sharpen your clarity, to show calmness, to rise above the noise. Suddenly, what was meant to harm you becomes a stage for your dignity. Marcus Aurelius gave us a powerful reminder. The best revenge is not to be like your enemy. Redirecting is exactly that, refusing to mirror negativity and instead transforming it into something nobler. Here's a simple practice for emotional redirection. Name the emotion clearly. The Stoics often journaled to give clarity to their feelings. If you feel anger rising, say to yourself, "This is anger. It is energy." Naming it takes away some of its grip. Find the root energy. Every emotion carries energy. Anger is fire. Fear is tension, sadness is weight. Instead of resisting the energy, feel it fully. Ask, what can I do with this energy that serves me? Redirect the force. Channel that energy into action. Anger can become determination to grow stronger. Fear can become preparation to meet challenges. Sadness can become depth of understanding. In doing this, you don't waste your emotions. You transform them. The truth is, resistance often makes emotions stronger. The more we fight against them, the more they fight back. But when we flow with them, when we acknowledge and redirect, they lose their destructive edge and become part of our strength. Think of water. Water doesn't resist obstacles. It flows around them, over them, through them, and in time, it shapes even the hardest stone. That is the art of emotional Aikido, fluid, adaptable, yet powerful beyond measure. Epictetus once said, "It is not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters." We often read this as "don't react," but there's another layer, how you react, how you transform the event, the insult, the hardship, into something that serves your growth. When someone is cruel to you, you can let it harden your heart, or you can redirect it into compassion, a reminder that their cruelty comes from their suffering. When life closes a door, you can sit in despair, or you can redirect the disappointment into motivation to carve a new path. This practice doesn't just protect your peace, it gives your life power, because every emotion becomes fuel, nothing is wasted. Even pain becomes part of your strength. Seneca gave us this wisdom. Difficulties strengthen the mind, as labor does the body. Emotional Aikido means you no longer see difficulties as poison. You see them as energy, as training, as nourishment for your growth. So the next time emotion rises, don't fight it, don't suppress it. Redirect it, flow with it, turn it into something that elevates you rather than breaks you. That is the true art of emotional mastery. That is Stoic strength in motion. Declare to yourself and drop in the comments, "I transform every emotion into strength." Number 5, the Phoenix Principle, rising stronger from every challenge. Life will break you. This is not pessimism, it is truth. There will be losses, betrayals, failures, and days when the weight of existence feels unbearable. But what defines you is not the breaking. It is what you do afterward. The Stoics believed that adversity is not a curse, but a forge. Hardship is the fire, and you are the iron. And like iron, you can emerge sharper, stronger, and more resilient if you choose to rise. This is what I call the Phoenix Principle, the ability to rise stronger from every challenge, every defeat, every setback. Like the mythical phoenix, you may fall into ashes, but those ashes become the soil for your rebirth. Marcus Aurelius reminded himself daily, the impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way. These are not poetic words. They are a roadmap. The obstacle does not stop your journey. It becomes part of it. When you see hardship through this lens, life changes. Rejection is no longer the end of your worth. It becomes redirection towards something greater. Failure is no longer humiliation. It is the blueprint of wisdom. Loss is no longer meaningless suffering. It is the reminder of life's preciousness, urging you to live deeply. This principle is not about blind optimism. It does not say, everything happens for a reason. The Stoics would reject that. Instead, it says, whatever happens, I will give it meaning. I will turn it into growth. I will not let it destroy me. I will let it transform me. Think about the hardest moment of your life. Maybe a betrayal. Maybe the loss of someone you loved. Maybe a dream collapsing. At the time, it felt like the end. Yet here you are, listening, breathing, alive. That survival is proof of strength already inside you. Now imagine if you didn't just survive, but rebuilt yourself stronger because of it. That is the phoenix rising. Epictetus, who was once a slave, understood suffering intimately, yet he taught, difficulties are things that show what men are. What you do in the ashes reveals your true character. Here's the key. Pain without reflection hardens the heart. But pain embraced with wisdom strengthens the soul. The Phoenix principle is the choice to not waste suffering. To turn wounds into wisdom, setbacks into strategy, heartbreak into compassion. How do we practice this? 3 steps can guide us. Acceptance. Do not resist reality. Do not waste your strength wishing things were different. Accept what is. This is the ground on which you stand. Meaning. Making. Ask, what can this teach me? How can I grow from this? The moment you give suffering meaning, it stops being meaningless pain and becomes purposeful fuel. Rebuilding with intention. Rising from the ashes means not returning to who you were before, but becoming something stronger, wiser, and freer. Consider the fire itself. Fire can destroy, yes, but it also purifies, clears away the unnecessary, and makes room for new life. The forest burns, and in time, richer soil, stronger trees, new growth emerge. This is not weakness, this is renewal. Seneca once said, "Fire tests gold, adversity tests men." What he meant is simple. You cannot know your strength until it is tested. You cannot build resilience without resistance. The Phoenix principle accepts adversity not as punishment, but as the necessary fire that reveals your true nature. It doesn't mean you won't feel pain. The Stoics never denied grief, sorrow, or disappointment. Marcus Aurelius mourned deeply for his children who died. Seneca wrote about his losses with raw honesty. The Phoenix principle does not erase pain, it transforms it into wisdom. Think of this. Every scar on your body tells a story of healing. Emotional scars are the same. They remind you not of weakness, but of resilience. They are proof that you fell, you bled, you burned, and yet you rose. Here's a practical exercise. Whenever you face hardship, write this sentence somewhere visible. This will not end me. This will grow me. Read it until your soul believes it. Because when you shift your perspective from victim to creator, the ashes become your strength. Remember, you are not fragile glass, shattering at the first hit. You are fire-forged steel. You are the phoenix. You are meant to rise. Not once, but every time life tests you. The Stoic path is not about avoiding hardship. It is about meeting hardship with courage, transforming it into growth, and rising from the fire stronger than before. So the next time you face difficulty, remember, this is your forge. This is your fire. This is your chance to rise as something greater than you were yesterday. The power of not reacting is not a simple skill. It is a journey into the depths of your mind, your heart, and your soul. Each principle we explored today, from the sacred pause to seeing your reactions as mirrors, to building an unshakable fortress of peace, mastering emotional aikido, and rising like the phoenix, is a tool, a guide, a key to reclaiming the life you often unknowingly hand over to others and to circumstance. Stoicism teaches us that life will never stop testing us. People will provoke, situations will disappoint, and challenges will feel impossible. But the one who masters their reactions, who transforms energy instead of wasting it, who builds resilience and rises from the ashes, they do not just survive, they thrive, they live free, they live powerful. Remember, your emotions are not enemies, they are signals. Your pauses are not weakness, they are power. Your hardships are not punishments, they are opportunities for growth. And above all, your reactions are yours to choose. Each choice you make becomes a step toward freedom, clarity, and strength. So, take these lessons, carry them with you, and let them shape the way you respond to the world. Practice the sacred pause. Look into the mirror of truth. Build your fortress of inner peace. Redirect your emotions with mastery. Rise stronger with every challenge. If this video inspired you, don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe. Share your affirmations in the comments to remind yourself and others of your power. Pause, reflect, transform, and rise. You have the strength, you have the wisdom, and you have the power to control your reactions, because your mind, your peace, and your life are yours.